So that's why the given set is not a subspace of set of n cross n matrix, right? Next, the last one, W is equal to f, where f of x is less or equal to 0 for all x, right? V is a set of function from minus infinite to infinite. So let's take fx is equal to -1. Just take constant function. Definitely f belongs to W, right? Because those functions are in the set such that the value of the functions is less or equal to 0 for all x, and just we take simple functions, f of x is equal to -1, constant function, and take alpha is equal to -1. Now check alpha into f. What is alpha into f? -1 into -1, that is equal to 1. So clearly alpha into f is not belongs to W, right? This is not V, this is W, right? Alpha into f is not belongs to W, so hence W is not a subspace of V, right? So we prove each 5 examples that which are not a subspace. Each example, each W are not a subspace, and this question is complete. Now this question asked in 5 marks, that means each this 5 short questions have 1 marks, right? So question number 2B, first part is complete. Second part, again similar question, check whether s is equal to sin x plus 1 sin x cos x in C from 0 to infinite, that means continuous function from 0 to infinite is linearly independent or not, right? So that we have to check. This type of question we already prove. Again we have to use Wronskian determinant. Here is our f1, f2 and f3, which already given in the statement. This is f1, this is f2, this is f3, right? Find first derivative of each function and second derivative of each function. Call it f1 dash, f2 dash, f3 dash, f1 double dash, f2 double dash, f3 double dash, right? Now derivative of sin x plus 1, that is cos x plus 1, derivative of sin x, that is cos x, derivative of cos x, that is minus sin x, okay? Derivative of cos x plus 1, that is minus sin x plus 1, derivative of cos x, that is minus sin x, and derivative of minus sin x, that is minus cos x. Put all this value in this Wronskian determinant. See, this is our Wronskian determinant, right? f1, f2, f3, f1 dash, f2 dash, f3 dash, f1 double dash, f2 double dash, f3 double dash. I already told you that if the value of this Wronskian determinant is equal to 0, then the given set of functions are linearly dependent, right? And if the value of the determinant is not equal to 0, then you can say that the given set of functions are linearly independent. So Wx is equal to, put all this value in this determinant, right? So the first row is f1, f2, f3, the second row is f1 dash, f2 dash, f3 dash, the third row is f1 double dash, f2 double dash, f3 double dash, right? Try to find out this determinant. Now to solve this determinant, just try to make easy. Here we do some process, just one process. We multiply third row with 1 and add into the first row. So we multiply this third row with 1 and add into the first row. So simply r1 plus r3, right, and put the value in first row. So definitely you will get 0 0 0, because see, first and third row are as it same, just change is in sign. Here all are positive, here all are negative, but the functions are same. Sin x plus 1, so this is minus sin x plus 1, sin x minus sin x, cos x minus cos x. So whenever you add first and third row, the first row become 0 definitely, right, and the second and third row are as it is. But clearly we know that in determinant, if any row or any column, the whole row or the whole column have 0 entries, definitely the value of that determinant is 0, okay? So clearly the value of this determinant is 0. So the function f1, f2, f3 are not linearly independent. This is linearly dependent, and the set S in continuous function from 0 to infinite is not linearly independent, right? So here is the complete this question, and this question asked in 2 marks in this question paper. Question 3a, first part, determine whether the following polynomials span P2. Okay. Now instead of to check that the given 3 polynomials span P2, we check that the given 3 polynomials are linearly independent or dependent. Why we are doing that? Because here is the reason. See, these two are actually simultaneously. Instead of these 3 polynomials span P2, we check that these 3 polynomials are linearly independent or dependent. If these 3 polynomials are linearly independent, then these 3 polynomials span P2. If these 3 polynomials are linearly dependent, these 3 polynomials span does not P2. Okay, here is my statement why we are doing that one. Because of this one important theorem, let P2 is equal to, just take P2, that is set of polynomial of 2 degree, that is inside theoretically we can write a plus bx plus cx square, where abc belongs to R. Here we use one theorem which states that dimension of V is equal to n and S contains exactly n vectors, then S is a basis for V if S is linearly independent or S spans V. Same situation happen here. See, we know that dimension of P2 is equal to 3. In general, dimension of Pn is equal to n plus 1. Okay, so dimension of P2 is equal to 3 and we have exactly 3 vectors. So these 3 vectors span P2. In other words, we can say that these 3 vectors are linearly independent using this theorem. Because of, to prove these 3 vectors are basis for a P2, just we only need to check that these 3 vectors are linearly independent or spans. Okay, we don't need to check both the conditions. So these 2 conditions, linearly independence and span, right, these 2 conditions are actually equivalent for this type of set, right. For this type of set means the number of elements, the number of vector in the given set and the dimension of a vector space, both are same. So that's why this situation happen. So we prove S is spans V. For that only need to prove S is linearly independent. Okay, so just try to understand this reason properly. Okay, why we are doing that one, right? Because to prove linearly independent or to check linearly independent or dependent, it's quite easy. Just we have to check determinant. Okay, so check the determinant. First row is from first polynomial 1 minus 1 2, 1 minus 1 2, then 5 minus 1 4, this is 5 minus 1 4, and then minus 2 2 2, minus 2, sorry, minus 2 minus 2 2, so minus 2 minus 2 2. Try to check, try to find out this determinant. So this equal to 1, 1 into 2 minus 2 minus 2 plus 8, right, minus 2 plus 8, then plus 1 into minor of this minus 1, so plus 1 into 10 plus 8, right, 5 into 2 10 plus minus 4 into minus 2, that is 10 plus 8. So here 10 plus 8 plus 2 into remove this column and this row, you will get 5 minus 1 minus 2 minus 2. So 5 into minus 2, that is minus 10 minus 2, so that is equal to 6 plus 18 minus 24. So 24 minus 24, that is equal to 0. Hence S is not linearly independent. Okay, because you will get the value of this determinant is 0. So S is not linearly independent. So definitely S does not span V. Okay, this is quite easy to check that the given 3 vectors are spans are P2 or not. Okay, so that's why we use this determinant method, right. So here we I again repeat that here we use this theorem because of the number of vector. We have 3 polynomials, right, of P2, and we know that dimension of P2 is equal to 3. Okay, dimension of P2 is equal to 3 and we have exactly 3 polynomials, and we have this theorem that if dimension of V is equal to n, dimension of V is equal to n and S contains exactly n vectors, then S is a basis for V if S is linearly independent or S spans V, right? If S is linearly independent or S spans V. So to prove linearly independent and S spans V, these two are equivalent whenever this situations happen, right? What type of situations? The number of vector and the dimension of a vector space both are same, right? So that's why we use this method and it's quite easy to solve, right? So next question. Question number 3a, second part. Show that S is equal to 1 minus t minus t cube minus 2 plus 3t plus t square plus 2t raised to 3 1 plus t square plus 5t raised to 3 is linearly independent in P3, right? Is linearly independent in P3. So we know that dimension of P3 is equal to 4 and we have only 3 polynomials. So that's why we cannot use the determinant method, otherwise we can use. But here we have number of vector is 3, number of polynomial we have 3 number of polynomial, and we know that dimension of P3 is equal to 4. So we cannot use determinant method, right? So that's why we use by definition. What is our definition to check that linearly independent or dependent? We are starting with any scalars a, b, c, d or alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, whichever you want. A into P1, that means this first polynomial, A into P1 plus B into P2 plus C into P3, that is equal to 0, where 0 is an identity element for the polynomial P3, set of polynomial P3, and try to prove that A, B, C, all the scalars are 0, that means A, B and C, 3 of them is 0, right? If one of the is non-zero, then the given 3 polynomials are linearly dependent. If each are 0, then we can say that the given 3 polynomials are linearly independent, right? So let's check. A into P1 plus B into P2 plus C into P3, that means A into 1 minus t plus t raised to 3 plus B into minus 2 plus 3 plus t square plus 2 t raised to 3 plus C into 1 plus t square plus 5 t cube, that is equal to 0. So A minus 2b plus C is equal to 0, minus A plus 3b, that is equal to 0, and minus A plus 2b plus 5c is equal to 0. So the augmented matrix of above linear system of equation is 1 minus 2 1 0 minus 1 3 0 0, right? 0 1 1 0 from this equation. See, from first equation, first row, 1, the coefficient of A is 1, coefficient of B is minus 2, coefficient of C is 1, right? From this first equation. From the second equation you will get second row minus 1 3 0 0. From third equation you will get third row 0 1 1 0. From the fourth equation you will get fourth row minus 1 2 5 0. Okay. Now try to convert this matrix into a row echelon form. So here this is our leading entry 1 in first row. Below that leading entry we want 0. So that's why we multiply first row with 1 and add into the second row, and we multiply first row with 1 and add into the fourth row. So 1 minus 2 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 0 6 0, right? See, addition of this two row you will get 0 3 minus 2 1 1 plus 0 1 0, right? So this is 0 1 1 0, then 0 plus 1 1 1 minus 2 minus 1 1 plus 1 2, and then 0. So that's why 0 1 1 0, this is same, right? This third row is same. The fourth row 1 minus 1 0 2 minus 2 0 5 plus 1 6 0. So that's why 0 0 6 0. Okay. Now this is our leading entry. Below that leading entry now we have 0 in second row. This is our leading entry. Below that leading entry I want make here 0. So that's why we multiply second row with minus 1 and add into the third row. So the first, second and fourth row are as it is. First, second and fourth row are as it is. we multiply second row with -1 and add it to the third row. So the third row become 0, 1 plus 1, sorry, 1 minus 1 0 and 1 minus 1 0. So the third row becomes 0 row. Okay. Now from this matrix, this is not row echelon form, but from this matrix you can find out A, B, C clearly. Okay. Just next process is just you have to interchange R3 and R4, right. So you have to interchange third and fourth row. So that's why this 0 row, the whole 0 row become bottom of the matrix, right. So and that matrix become a row echelon form. Okay, because we know that the condition that to become a row echelon form, if any row contains 0 element, that will become the bottom of the matrix, right. So from this matrix you will get this equation: A minus 2B plus C is equal to 0, B plus C is equal to 0 and 6C is equal to 0, right. First column you have leading entry, second column you have leading entry, third column you don't have leading entry. So that's why, okay, definitely C is equal to 0. Now put this C is equal to 0 in this second equation, you will get B is equal to 0, and from B and C both are 0, you will get A is equal to 0, right. So definitely A, B, C, three of them are 0, so S is linearly independent. Okay, so so we solve this question paper up to this question. Thank you.